everybody.
Welcome back to the Truth in Her podcast.
Episode 12.
Today, we are going to be talking about relationship advice.
Young love.
Starting off with your first relationship, what to watch out for.
The good stuff, the bad stuff. The struggles, the growth.
Exactly.
What it all looks like.
So, Maddie, tell us about your first relationship, or like when you first started dating and everything about you.
I think it was like I got to an age, I forget I guess it was like freshman year of high school, and I was like, okay, like I really want to, what are boys? I want to like explore what that's like, what it's like talking to them. And like for 2 years being young and like stupid, it was kind of like just talking casually and like it was nothing ever here a boy, there a boy, nothing like crazy.
Like the intentions were not
exactly
strong.
Like no commitment, kind of just like hanging out and like we'd kiss and make out in the woods, and it would be like kind of just like silly, stupid, like young girl stuff like that. And then I was like, okay, then I think around sophomore year, I was like, I got serious, and I was like, I don't really want to do that anymore. Like I want someone who really wants a relationship, who like really wants to be committed, and I want to see if I can have that too. I want to accomplish that. So then eventually I stopped talking to boys like altogether, really, and I was like, let me just wait till someone comes to me. And eventually that did happen. Like a relationship presented itself to me, and I took it and ran with it. And it was, I kind of wish that, I think back then I didn't have the knowledge to say, okay, this guy likes me. Do I like him? Do I like, I think it's very easy for us, even when we're young, to say, this guy likes me. And because he likes me, that means I like him. And you like someone because they like you. Yeah. And it's not really like.
I used to have that so bad.
And I think as you get older, you realize like, I want to like someone for who they are, not because they like me. Yeah. And
I totally agree with that. I used to have that so bad.
Yeah. It was like, oh my gosh, they like me.
Yeah, it's like, ooh, I have to like them now because, no one else is going to like me.
Yeah, literally. It comes from a lack mindset.
It so does.
Yeah.
It so
does. And I realize that now. And there's, as women, you get approached a lot by men. And that you have to, in your older age, you have to discern like what's a good partner. Yeah. What's a good what's healthy, what's not healthy. And then I think it was about 8 months ago that my first relationship ended with that guy. And it was good. I learned a lot. From it.
You did. It's important to have those relationships. Yeah. Like those early like weird relationships, because your intentions are so different than your intentions now for a relationship.
100%.
Like going into mine, like you said, like someone likes you, so you like them back, and then you just start a bond, and then you have no idea of like your boundaries or like your limits
it's such a relationship created on lust. Yeah. And it's not created on like pillars of inside of us.
Because you don't even know what you want in somebody until you have that first relationship, and then
you gotta have that time to explore what it means to be committed and working with someone. Yeah. Rather than just in love or lusting, really. Literally.
Yeah. Like the way I showed up in those relationships is so different than how I show up now in my relationship. Yeah, yeah. Because I learned how to show it from those relationships.
Yeah, genuinely.
I was so lost in my first relationships. Like,
yeah, what was that like for you?
I started off really young with my first boyfriend in freshman year, and it was kind of that thing where it was like, oh, he liked me, I'm gonna just start hanging out with him, and I like him too. And it was it was a sweet relationship. We were it was very young love. It was very exciting. It was very new. Yeah. And like we just got off all this on this kick of like, oh my gosh, like we were running on happiness, it was genuinely just so happy, and that was the only thing that was fueling it. So, things got messy pretty fast, and we had so many things in ourselves that we didn't resolve that were coming out, and it just was messy. And like, I had no boundaries, you know.
Yeah.
I had no boundaries, and just looking back at myself then compared to today, it's really funny because I know that I would be saying different things, and I'd be reacting different ways, and behaving differently based on what I learned.
I could imagine you have like a very strong sense of like strength now, and like, and this, I don't know, this demeanor that feels probably really good, and because you're honoring what you really want now.
Exactly. Like, I saw what went wrong, and now I'm like, no nonsense, like, this is what it needs to be.
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah.
And so, but it wouldn't be like that if it weren't for those first relationships. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I'm very thankful for them. But yeah, and it was heartbreaking though, because I feel like when you get off on a kick of like love that way,
I'm sure,
you know, the opposite of love is obviously not gonna feel very
despair.
Good. It's gonna feel so bad.
Sorrow. Right.
Yeah, like deep despair.
Right.
And so, you know, if anybody's going through that, I feel for you.
Yeah, genuinely.
You know,
I think it was kind of like that for me too at the end of my last relationship, just very like, you know, things started to get messy. Mm-hmm. So then it was like all we had was the feelings, and all we had was like this, like just clinging to each other because like that's all that there was.
Yeah.
You know, there wasn't the pillars, there wasn't the rock to stand on.
Yeah.
There wasn't, you know, boundaries. So so it turns to this really like this mess of just two chemistries, two strong, deep emotions trying to get what they both want, and
so true.
And it can get crazy. It can get
and the problem is when you don't know within yourself what you need, and you can't provide your own needs for yourself, you look for it in other people in that way. And so when you're having conflict with somebody and they're not meant for you and you guys aren't working out very well, it's so scary to leave, because it's like, I need this person to fill a void in me that I can't fill myself. Yeah. And to let go of that is so terrifying.
You're so right. It's
so terrifying.
It's so scary. It becomes codependency. It really, it really does. I remember in my last relationship, like, I think it was like 1 month or 2 months before I like really cut the cord, and I realized like, okay, this is not going to work out. Like, and it was really sad. It was full of sorrow. I just remember like sobbing.
So sad.
Listening to Lana Del Rey, believe it or not. Love her.
I was so sad too, and I felt for you because I know that.
But it wasn't until a whole month after I had the strength to really say I need to be single. And really voice that I you know,
that you actually did.
Yeah. And it, like, love really can be a drug, and like Mary said, like, we really feel for you if you're struggling and you don't know what to do. There's a lot of emotions right now for you. I feel for you, but what helped me through it was the logic. Yeah. The logic of, this is this person, I am me. This is our situation right now. Do we have the ability to get through it together, or would I be better on my own? Yeah. You know, it really, like, and then once you've used your logic to make that decision, then you go into the feelings, then you go into the heartbreak, and the mourning, and the learning, and the work that you do inside your heart to.
That's really what it is. Like, when you have a first relationship, it's all heart. It all
really
love.
is. It really is.
Your brain has no idea of the trauma. It doesn't understand the trauma of a heartbreak yet, really.
You're so right,
So
Mary.
It doesn't understand, like, oh, Mary, you should really be setting boundaries. You should really, like, know your standards first. Right. It has no idea. It's in La La Land. And your heart is leading the way.
The rose-colored glasses, like, 100%. Yeah.
So, you know, after you have a relationship or two, then your brain really comes in, and it's there to be like, okay, you know, I gotta make sure, because we don't want to go through it again and again.
No, exactly.
You know, you really gotta listen to your brain.
You're right.
You gotta use the logic. And even, like, if you're in a bad relationship, and we've all been through this where, you know, you're in love with somebody, but your brain is telling you in the back of your head, like, oh, leave this person. Like, this is not good for you. Like, there's so many signs. You guys keep fighting. Like, why am I with this person? Like, and it brings so much fear in your heart because you're like, oh my gosh, am I not going to be with this person anymore? Like, do I have to break up with this person? Do I have to go through that?
Yeah, the anxiety comes
so
about.
you ignore those logical feelings. You ignore it and press it down and press it down. But then it comes up too in the way you react to certain things and the way, you know, when you have that lock mindset of, oh my gosh, we're not going to make it, you start to really fight for what you think you should be acting or how you think they should be acting. And it, you know, if you're feeling it's an insecurity and then it shows up and it puts a lot of stress on the relationship. It does.
But if you know it's not right, start to think about it. Start to really like get serious because
absolutely. Yeah. Because like don't neglect that, because when I did that in my past relationship, it would show up and I would be so nasty and I'd be so angry. So like when I wasn't with him, I felt like I wanted to be with him, but then when I was with him, I wanted to just be away from him. Right. And my heart was trying to tell me like, you love him, right? Like he's your safe spot. Like he's comfortable. But then when I was with him, I was like,
then my brain get reminded.
I was reminded like, oh my gosh, like
this is not
right. I don't
want
to be around this person.
I've totally felt that.
You know what I mean?
Like 100%. Your body knows.
Your body knows. Your mind knows. Like your intuition knows. And just leave, girl. Like if you're having those feelings,
you just gotta convince your heart.
You just gotta go.
Yeah, you gotta do it.
You just gotta go. It's not the one. You know, you're either
don't fall for the drug.
Don't fall for the drug. You're either going to be with somebody long term or you're gonna break up.
Right.
There's no in between, really. Like really.
Right.
So think, you know, is this somebody I want to be long term with? Is this somebody that I'm able to, or we're able to work together through ups and downs,
right,
and hardship? Like, does this person handle hard situations well?
Exactly.
Does this person handle conflict well?
Right.
And how do we work together as a team? And if it's not working, you know, stop trying to fix somebody. Stop trying to convince yourself it's going to get better.
You're so right.
Because the person that you're dating now is going to be the person you're going to be dating when you're 40.
Right, exactly. And a healthy relationship, it's not all feeling. It takes logic. It takes work. So if there's no logic in that relationship and you see there never being logic, then you know, like, and it's never going to be able to be like that. So you have to use the logic. You have to use your discernment. So I think that's a great way to tell if your relationship is, you know, a healthy relationship takes logic. So if you
does.
and work. So if your relationship has no logic, no boundaries, nothing like that, then there's work to be done. There's assessing to be done.
Yeah. Absolutely. You got to be with somebody that you're comfortable with bringing anything to, and vice versa with them. You know, you guys really have to have that, because you're gonna go through things that are gonna challenge both of you. Yeah. Many, many, many times. Yeah. And so it's like, how do you guys handle conflict well? You know, what is this person like? Right. How does this person handle conflict in their families?
Yeah, exactly.
And with themselves. Like,
that's an important one, is with themselves. Yeah.
With themselves.
Yeah.
Because that's gonna show up with you guys.
Exactly. Big time. Major. Yeah, if you're not handling
with their
the
parents.
Yeah.
Major.
What's their family? What are their family relationships? If their family relationships are out the door and they don't ever want to talk to them, that tells you what are the how are they going to treat you?
They're going to have with
how are they going to treat you? How are they going to treat your parents? Exactly.
Literally.
You know, how it's not, you know, it just can't work out that way.
Absolutely.
But yeah, it does take the exploration and the feelings, because what else would it be?
Yeah.
We're at 15 minutes exactly.
We're hungry.
We are hungry.
It's also important to realize that, you know, being in a relationship is really, really great, and there's also going to be some really, really big lows with it. But I think it's a red flag when you have a relationship that has really strong highs and really big lows.
100%.
Because that's going to look like a roller coaster, you know? You don't want a roller coaster relationship where it's like really
hot
high
and cold
loves and then big, big loves, and then it's like, boom, right down, fighting, bad, like not getting along, and then it keeps going up and down. You don't want a shaky relationship.
That's the sign of a good relationship, is like boredom in a way, and like
literally
stability
and boredom and contentness.
And think about it, if you're having, why are you having this all of the sudden super high? Like, it feels good, but it literally is a high. You have to think about, like, what did we do just before this? What was the state of us just before this super high? Because it kind of isn't normal.
No, it's not. Exactly.
It's not. So what are you falling for? Is there something that you're compensating for? Is there something you guys are both lying to yourself about? And then if you don't know yet while you're experiencing that high, stay attentive and watch if you then to start to experience a low, if things go like that, and all of the sudden.
Is it eggshells, are you walking on eggshells around each other like
right,
that?
Exactly.
Like, are you scared that somebody's gonna flip the switch?
And I think it's important too to, like, the moment that you decide to avoid or not honor that feeling is the moment you've given your power away. So, like, if you feel that feeling, it's serious. Like, I've totally felt the feeling of, like, this isn't right, and then pushed it away.
Yeah.
But you have to understand, like, that feeling means something, and I have to honor it.
Yeah.
I have to really decide and get serious.
Yeah.
And
like, don't stop fighting for the wrong things. Like,
right.
If somebody is acting like a fool.
Exactly.
And, like, you're going to keep chasing them and chasing them and chasing them. It's like, why are you chasing? Like, you look stupid right now.
Exactly.
Why are you chasing
You've given
them?
your power away.
Yeah.
You're done.
Stop chasing them. They're going to keep running in circles around your mind.
There's so many people. Yep. There's so many people who would give you what you want.
Exactly. There's so many people who would treat you right and who would have the same emotional stability
There's
as you.
no use in just
content.
beating around the bush and just, holding on. It's a drug.
It is.
You have to go cold turkey. You have to take the space.
Yeah, you really do have to go cold turkey with somebody toxic like that.
Yep.
It's like no other way.
It's never
gonna be easy.
That's how my last relationship ended.
Yeah. It's never gonna be easy. You just gotta, like, do it. Because, like, there's never gonna be a good time.
No, you're right. And those, yeah. Do you end it on a high? Do you end it on a low? Don't matter.
Yeah.
Does not matter.
I remember when you were thinking about that, when you were, going through that.
When I had that month where I wasn't strong enough.
Yeah, where you were just like, I don't know what to do. Like,
yeah.
I know this is what I want, but I don't know when to do it.
How? Yep.
And I was just like,
you told me.
There's never a time.
You told me.
There's never a good
Remember?
time.
We had that conversation in the car, and you were like, if you don't know now, you're not going to know tomorrow, in a week.
Like, stop waiting for it to be easy, because it's not. It's going to hurt.
Right.
Like, just do it.
Yeah.
You really got to. So, like, if you're stuck in a bad situation, just go.
Just go, and then deal with your emotions.
Yeah.
You will be better. I'm telling you, if it's hard right now and you know it's not the right thing, do it with the logic, do it with the strength, honor yourself, honor what you know is your truth, and then go home, go to your best friends, go to your mom, go to your dad, go to your bed, give yourself the space to feel everything and, analyze what's been going on. You have the feelings of understanding it's not right. So use the logic to do that, and then use your emotions, and you're doing the right thing. You're doing the right thing.
And remind yourself why you did it.
Exactly.
Keep reminding yourself why you're leaving this person, because
exactly.
Your heart's gonna say, well, it maybe could work out again. It was fun. You're gonna remember all the good things.
Yeah.
That's all you're gonna be thinking about.
You're having those really crappy feelings for a reason. Like, you're going through that for a reason. So go there fully. Go through it, because you deserve better.
Yeah. Yeah.
Feel the sadness and the anger and the strife, because you deserve better.
Yeah. And you know why you're leaving.
Yeah.
Because if you're in a healthy relationship, you're going to be thinking things like, wow, I feel blessed and lucky to have this person in my life. They make me a better person. That's what you're going to be thinking every day.
Right.
And if you're not thinking that every day,
if they're not adding to your life, if they're not pushing you to be a better person, if they're not challenging you to make your brain better, or you know,
or calling you out when you're doing the wrong things and trying to tell you to do the wrong, like,
yeah,
like your partner needs to challenge you.
or even if they're doing it in the wrong way too, if they're challenging you but doing it in the wrong way and being mean about it, being super like it needs to be this
Like,
way or else,
like a very condescending, or like
yeah,
very,
like black and white kind of, like I don't know how to explain it, but there's a way to go,
like backhanded, very like rude,
yeah,
way
exactly,
of saying things like, oh, why are you doing it like that,
rather
like,
than
you don't
out of
want
love.
that. Yeah,
rather than out of love, knowing it's what's best for you, knowing it, you know,
like sitting down with you and being like, hey,
what
and
have
having
you
real
ever thought about
adult
doing it this way?
conversation. Yeah, absolutely. You don't want a controlling negative person in your life.
Exactly. And you know, a person who truly wants to be with you long term is going to want to resolve something and come out of a fight feeling better, not come out of the fight being more mad or being more against each other, or trying to get revenge. That's not what you want. If they're treating you that way, you need to leave, because it's not, they don't love you. Like they don't, that's when they're coming out of a place of insecurity. You know, it's a place of like, not, there's no love there. It's all lust. And true love understands accountability and the hard conversation in that way, and understands how to be adult and be civil. So what is that going to take?
And I've even gone like that before, like when I know that I don't want to be around the person, like I said, like you are hanging out, like when you're not with them, your heart's going to say, all I want to do right now is be with them. And then when you're with them, all you're going to be thinking about is I don't want to be around this person. Like, I'm so like frustrated with this person for some reason. I'm so annoyed at this person.
Yeah, like so,
like constantly.
Oh my goodness, I felt that
and
too.
And then it's like, why am I like constantly annoyed at this person when I'm with them, but
so
then I really want to be with them
them
when I'm not with them.
Yeah.
And so I've definitely gotten to that point when I know that I don't want to be in the relationship anymore, but I'm ignoring that feeling inside of me, where I get super rude and super annoyed and very controlling in that way, so that I can try to shape them into I want them to be. But in reality, they're never going to be able to be who I want them to be, because they are the way that they are. And there's just some things that you can't fix in people. And stop trying to fix them and chase them in circles. You know, the person that you're dating, like I said, is going to be the person you're going to be dating for the next 40 years if you stay with them.
Honor your truth. Honor what you know, and come from a place of like, you know, boundaries and human beings, you know?
Yeah.
You're both human beings. So what's the true logic behind this whole thing?
Absolutely.
What is, you know...
But if you're in, you know, or if you have been in a first relationship where it's very rocky and back and forth, you know, just know that those relationships really, really teach you something.
Yep.
You know, I wouldn't be the same person I am today.
100%.
If it weren't for those experiences, and I wouldn't know how to handle situations. I wouldn't know my boundaries, and I behave completely differently now around those kind of relationships. I treat them more seriously.
Yep.
Because I know what I want now, and I know my boundaries, and I know who I want in my life.
Yeah.
And I know when to say no. I know when to say yes.
Yep.
And that's so important, and that's something you don't know when you first start a relationship.
Yeah, you don't know that. You don't even know that it takes to have that. You don't even know you need to have that. Yeah, I think me too, over the last 8 months, like, I feel like I have learned so much, and I've also started going to church and reading the Bible, and like learning what a godly relationship is, learning what a husband is, learning what a wife is, and how to honor God in the best way with that. And you know, I think now for me, it's like my next relationship, I know I need to have it. The relationship's going to be me, my husband, and God, because otherwise.
Amen.
Yeah, because otherwise, who is going to be that hand to say, you know, in that moment, I have two options: either disrespect them or respect them, and God is on your shoulder saying, you know what you need to do.
Yeah, who's holding you guys accountable?
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
I want God holding me accountable.
Exactly. And then, like, you know, it's just good to have this other being that is right, telling you what you need, what should be, what is right, you know, and this father, Yeah.
Oh, so important. I see people nowadays and they, you know, they take relationships between, you know, if you're a guy, a relationship with a woman or a woman with a man, they take relationships with these people and they sabotage it and they use it for immense amount of lust.
Right.
You know what I mean? There's just so much lust involved. There's so much disrespect involved. And I think that's really what's going on in our culture nowadays, honestly.
You're right. With hookup culture and, you know, it's like I'm seeing, not even in relationships, but just seeing men and women treating each other like we're not even human.
Yeah.
Yeah, one night stands and like that's not normal.
Yeah. And then people will be like, yeah, I want to be married one day. And it's like, well, what are you doing then?
Right.
Why are you, you know, disrespecting
yourself and all these people that you're sleeping with?
Exactly.
Every single night.
Yeah. Like if you want to be married one day, start, you know.
It doesn't start until right now. You have to make the decision right now. That's the other thing too. Like I've been in my past relationship being like, okay, like, you know, this is my situation, but I can wait. You know, like like it doesn't have to happen right now. And it was just, I only said that to myself because I didn't want to confront the fact that it was hard and it was ugly and it was, you know, not the right thing. But you know, you got to have that seriousness about it. Is it going to work out? You got to analyze it. You got to you have to have the logic first with God involved in your head.
Yeah. And it, you know, it's totally okay to have multiple relationships over time. And I'm not saying like, you know, marry the person that you're going to date, but take those relationships and learn from them. And how can you make each one better? And how can you make better opinions based on who you're dating and make better choices?
Right.
And how can you prepare yourself to show up better?
100%.
And then also make the right decisions to have somebody else show up good for you.
Yeah.
And then have the God in the relationship so that, you know, one day you can have a prosperous marriage.
Yeah, definitely.
And a successful relationship.
Yeah, I think a great question to ask is how does this relationship serve its purpose? What is this relationship's purpose right now?
Yeah.
And in that question you find, is it gonna be a marriage? Is it gonna be an ex? You know, how does it serve its purpose?
Yeah.
And sometimes its purpose is God, sometimes it's not, and
sometimes it's a lesson.
Exactly.
You know.
Exactly.
And that's okay. But
it's beautiful.
It's interesting how, you know, we can grow so much from these things. And how a relationship, like an intimate relationship between a man and a woman, is so different than like your friends or your family. Like it's so different and you really have to navigate it differently. And it teaches you a whole lot about
you're
yourself
not close
too.
You're not close with anyone like that in your life. You know, you're literally like close,
very, very close.
Like you're inside of each other, like genuinely share the same soul.
Yeah.
And how do you move with that person? How do you like it's important to remember that this is a serious thing, and like it's serious and it's beautiful. Like there's reverence there. There's reverence with another being in that way. It's so intimate, and like it's important to treat it that way.
It is. It's important to treat it that way. And
it can be fun, and it can be, you know, joyful, but it doesn't mean, it's not just this like willy-nilly thing, you know. It's not like, you know, it really isn't. It's not, know? Right. It's a serious really thing.
Like I said, you know, the best relationships are ones that are very content and ones that, you know, boring in a way.
Right.
If that's like the lack for a better term.
Exactly. But, like it's not. I'm trying to search for a word. I can't find it. But
like mundane. Right. That means boring, but a different way.
Like it's. I'm trying to think.
Very content.
A word for a word that like a foolish relationship. Like if it's foolish, is your relationship foolish? Does it, you know, or is it valuable?
Yeah.
Is it
absolutely
serious?
Is it progressive?
Because serious might mean not joyful, but I mean serious in a way of like just real.
Yeah.
You know, like
is it raw?
Godly?
Is it
Yeah.
Unshakable.
Exactly. Unshakable.
Yeah.
Yep. That's a great word.
But yes, we've all been, me and Maddie have been through that, and we've learned a lot from it, and I'm sure a lot of you guys have too.
Yep.
But it's all about taking it and learning from it, and it's just fun to reminisce on, you know, who we used to be in different relationships, and how we've changed, and
exactly
how that prepares us for who God wants for us in our lives, and how we can show up in our partner's lives. And I'm thankful for it. You know?
Exactly. The process is overall joyful. There's hard things that we go through in life, and one of them is how we co-create with somebody, but it's how we come out of them that makes us who we are today, and makes us the enlightened being under God. You know, and what does that mean for your relationship?
Yeah. How can you guys come together as two whole people?
Yep.
And make each other's lives better in two completely different ways.
Yeah.
Into this beautiful garden, instead of coming to each other with so many voids, and then
trying to fill each other,
sucking the life out of each other to fill those voids, and then becoming so codependent on each other that when it gets bad, you are so scared to leave, because leaving them would mean leaving the comfort that you needed in yourself that you didn't give yourself
to fill the void. Yeah.
So
you gotta fill your voids. You have to fill your voids.
You do.
Not somebody else.
You gotta fill your voids. You gotta give yourself what you need. You gotta make sure you feel comfortable.
And then think about it too, like if you're with somebody and you know there's spaces in you, you know there's places where you don't feel 100%, use that as a sign of saying, like, you do deserve better.
Yeah.
You know, even if the person, I've seen this too, even if the person treats you correctly, but yet you're using the relationship in the wrong way, if you're thinking about it in the wrong way and you know the way you're using it isn't healthy, you need to take the space for yourself. You know, and that's probably one of the most confusing times, because even a relationship that looks okay and it is doing okay, but yet you know it doesn't, you know, you got into it for the wrong reasons, or because it's easy to say, like, oh, somebody cheated on me, now I need to go.
Yeah.
But it's harder to say, we have all these different experiences together, they're not, you know, fully bad or fully good. It's harder to justify leaving in a way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I totally see that.
But you understand your truth, and you understand what you want.
Yeah.
You gotta honor it.
You do. You really, really do. Anyway, guys, thanks so much for listening.
And at the end of the day, Jesus loves you.
Yeah, Jesus loves you guys. We have a Jesus loves you rock.
So Jesus loves you. So
if you don't feel loved by someone else, you know, fill that void with Jesus.
Yeah, go to Jesus. Exactly. And if, you know, yeah.
We will see you guys in the next episode. Thank you so much for listening.
Bye.
Bye.